Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about issue number 15 of Doctor Strange, which is a tie-in to the Blood Hunt event written by Jed MacKay. But before we dive into the story, I want to ask you a favor. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and a comment to help the channel grow. Now, as the skies turned dark due to the eruption of the Dark Force energy, Doctor Strange immediately realized what it was: a vampire invasion. So with the Avengers defeated and no sun to save them, Strange and his beloved wife, Clea, began to assemble the Montesi formula, which is a lost spell with the power to destroy all vampires. But now things are worse than even Strange originally suspected, as Blade the Vampire Hunter reveals that he is the one who is currently leading the vampire assault. So with that said, this issue opens right after Blade drove his blade into the back of Doctor Strange. So following that turn of events, Blade turned his attention toward Clea Strange and said she is an interesting creature because he always wondered what her blood would taste like. So as Doctor Strange continued to bleed out, Clea shouts for Blade to let him go. But see, Blade never had any intentions to let him die, because on the very next panel, he drove his teeth deep into the neck of Doctor Strange. So as Blade proceeds to change Doctor Strange into a vampire, Clea let out a massive wave of energy, but somehow Blade was able to stop it. Now, this caught her completely off guard, because to the best of her knowledge, Blade was no mage, but that was when Blade tells her that she had no idea what he is capable of. Because drinking the blood of a Sorcerer Supreme is compared to drinking the very blood of the world. So with the deed done, he tossed Stephen's body into his wife, like a shield, and followed close behind with his twin blades at the ready. So with the battle heating up, Clea once again let out another blast while saying all she sees before her is a dead man. But that's when Blade countered with life and death are so transitory, but a living death is eternal. So as Blade's swords blocked the magical base attacks, Clea couldn't help but to ask about the nature of his twin swords. So with that question out there, Blade begins to tell her the story about the history behind his swords. He tells her in old Atlantis, not that sunken mockery the boy King Namor reigned over, but the real Atlantis. There was a sacred order who hunted magic. Now the way they did it was by forging blades that could kill even the canniest sorcerers. Those swords could cut through enchantments and protect them from dark spells and even life-threatening hexes. But eventually, their creators died screaming and choking on their own blood, but their blades have remained waiting to drink the blood of mages once again. So with that story explained, Clea casted a sword-based attack, but the Daywalker was just too fast for her to land the hit on. So with things still up in the air about who was going to come out on top, Clea proceeded to tell Blade that Stephen had always seen him as a friend as they battled vampires together. But that was when Blade said something odd. He states that his schemes have spanned epochs and were in the making for thousands of years. And letting loose his hungry children across the globe and scattering the Avengers was only his opening salvo. Now, in order to achieve his long desire, the Earth's Sorcerer Supreme had to be dealt with, and the Montesi formula had to be destroyed. Now the Montesi formula is the spell that Doctor Strange was looking for in issue number 1 of the Blood Hunt event, in order to kill all the vampires at once. So with that bit of information out there, Clea vows that she will find it, and use it in Stephen Strange's name. So with that declaration made, Blade tells her he believed she would have, if he truly killed her Stephen Strange, but in order to prevent that, he just turns him into a vampire instead. So as Stephen Strange painfully turns into a creature of the night, Clea looks on in disgust as Blade orders him to attack his ex-wife. So as the newly made bloodsucker dashed towards Clea, she immediately deployed the Crimson Bands of Sidiarak to stop and hold him in place. So with Clea's hands full, she was left wide open to any form of attack that Blade wished. So with the battle over, Clea asked the Daywalker, why does he not just finish her off? In which he replies by saying, because he has won this battle and he doesn't want to kill her. And to be honest, he wasn't even sure if he could even turn a fall teen. And on top of that, he just doesn't see her as a credible threat, because even if she does assemble the Montesi formula, she could never use it to kill her lover. So with Blade placing her in checkmate, he orders his blood coven to use the impossible city technology to teleport him home. So following that, Clea had to think fast on her feet, because the Daywalker had turned Strange into a vampire, which made him susceptible to Blade's domination. But turning one into a vampire is a curse of the body that would cloud the victim's mind. So in order to get her husband back, Clea determined she had to separate the two, the body from the mind. So with that conclusion reached, Clea placed her hand onto his chest and proceeded to rip Strange's very soul out of his new vampire body. Now once separated, Strange started to apologize because he was not in control of his body at all. Because Blade's will was just too powerful. So after the realization of what had happened to him set in, he was still as determined as ever to assemble the formula. But due to current events, Clea didn't hold the same ideas. Because without Stephen Strange, she could care less about the world. So with the two at an impasse, Clea explains that this is exactly what Blade wanted. He wanted them to waste their time scrambling for a magical spell to fix everything, while the whole time they are fighting against themselves in the face of the implication of sacrifice, and by doing that, Blade believes that he has neutralized them. But in her words, Clea believes him to be wrong. She states, he attacked them and beat them only because they were doing what he knew they would be doing. And by doing that, they were blind to the truth threat, but now their eyes have been torn open, and she now understands they cannot win by doing what he expects them to. So in order to do that, they must not look for the spell for the time being and focus on saving Doctor Strange. Now with that out there, it was Stephen's turn to add to the plan by saying they must join forces with the other Avengers because Blade believes them to be broken and scattered. So with that stated, they hear a noise coming from the front door. In our next page, we see Hunter's Moon, Miles Morales, and Tyra at the front door. So as the heroes gather to make their plans to save the day, an unlikely figure watches them from the shadows, plotting on the opportunity that presented itself. For it was almost time for him to make his entrance. It was almost time for Victor Strange, a ghost without a body, to claim a body without a mind. So with that said, this issue of Doctor Strange comes to an end. Now with that out there, if you want to stay in the loop about any individual storyline, then how about you hop over to the playlist section down below or in the link cards above to get all caught up on the Blood Hunt event. So with that established, I hope you enjoyed this video, and please don't forget to leave a like and a comment if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.